Hello and welcome to part 1 of the Mazin tutorial video. Mazin is a unique maze-based puzzle game for the iPhone OS, and I'm the developer of Mazin. And in this first video I'm going to show you some of the basic gameplay features in Mazin. You can also design your own mazes with the app, and you can share those mazes wirelessly with other Mazin owners, but those features are going to be covered in another video. So let's get started. This is the Mazin icon here, and I'm going to go ahead and start it up, and after a splash screen we'll be taken to the main menu. Now in the main menu at the top part you see there are the features for play-in mazes. You can either play the standard mazes or mazes that you've built or mazes that you've borrowed. Whichever one of these you choose, it's going to bring you to a list of the mazes you can play. Now the first time you come up to the standard mazes, the only one that's going to be available to you is this first one here called Easy Peasy. The rest of them, as you play each one, it'll unlock the one below it. You see I've played several of these, but then the gray ones down here I haven't played yet in this particular installation. But once you choose one of the mazes, Mazin will load it up and take you to the playing board. To the right here, if it's a standard maze, you're going to see the name of the maze. And sometimes those can give you a hint about maybe a trick that you have to do in order to complete that particular maze. Down at the bottom, you have the options to go back to the maze list. You can reset the maze, which I'll show you a little later. Or you can go and look at some instructions. I'll go ahead and show you that. It turns over to the instruction page, where you can just scroll through, read all the instructions about how to play. All of which we're going to cover in the video here. So for now, I'm going to go back to the playboard, and rather than show you how to all the play features on one of the mazes built in, and you don't want to play those yourself, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to one of the user-built mazes that I've designed specifically for this tutorial. It's top one there, Sampler. So I'll bring that up. And this board will let me demonstrate the various features. Every maze in Mazin has the same objective. You're trying to get this play block, shown here, into its home location, which for this maze is right here. And you're going to have to orient the maze block correctly so it fits into the home location. As you move the play block, you're going to tap it and just drag it with your finger. And it's going to follow your finger motion. Now a little tip here. When you tap the maze block, it should turn dark. If it doesn't turn dark, you don't have it. So if you're trying to drag it and it doesn't seem to be dragging, just tap it, hold it, make sure it's dark, and then it'll follow your finger around pretty well. Alright, now as you move through mazes, you're going to encounter different types of cells. We're going to go through all of those here. The gray cells you see, those are just empty spaces where you can move through, while these dark cells here are wall cells. You can't move the play block through the wall cells, obviously, and you can't move it past the edge of the play area. So those are sort of your boundaries in the maze. Next, I'm going to show you these rotate cells. You see these reddish looking cells here, sort of brick red. They each have a direction, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and when you move the play block onto them, it's going to turn the play block 1/4 turn in the direction it shows, like so. So every time you come off and come onto one, it's going to rotate the play block. Now obviously, you see this one here would try to rotate me in the clockwise direction, but there's a wall in the way, so it's not going to do anything if I try to enter it like so. Also, I wanted to show you that if you come into two play blocks at the same time, two rotate cells at the same time, they're going to cancel one another out and nothing's going to happen. So you're going to have to enter just one, but if one of them rotates you onto the other one, then that's going to activate the second one. So you see here I've sort of gotten stuck if I'm in this orientation. Let me change my orientation and I can come right through here. Alright, so those are rotate cells. The next cell I'm going to show you is this one here. It's the collapse cell. You see several arrows pointing into the center. As I enter that cell, it's going to collapse me onto itself. Now, you can't win a game of Mazin in that condition because you're not going to fill the home area. But it can help you to get through some tight squeezes like so. And to get out of that state, you're going to have to use an expand cell. That's the blue cells you see here. Some of the expand cells have a direction. This points down, so if I enter that expand cell, it's going to expand me down. While this one here points to the right, so let me shrink up again, and if I enter it, no matter which way I do, it's going to expand me to the right. But then there's this expand cell here, which has arrows pointing in all 4 directions. It's going to expand me in whatever direction I happen to enter it. Okay, so if I enter it to the right, it's going to expand, or going to the right, it's going to expand me to the right. Whoops, let me come back and do that again. If I enter it coming down, it's going to expand me downwards. Alright, so that's expand cells and collapse cells. The next cell I'm going to show you are these green cells here. These are switches. You see they look like little buttons. When you enter a switch cell, some other cell on the maze is going to change into a different type of cell. It'd kind of be nice to know what a switch is going to do before you enter it. So before the play cell enters the switch cell, you can just tap the switch cell, and you see it'll show you what's going to happen. This cell here, the switch here, is going to change this block into an open cell, which is good. This switch here is going to change this cell into a rotate cell. So to activate those, I just enter them with the play block, and they activate, make the changes, and that's a switch cell. So that's the basic cells. You have your empty cells, your wall cells, your rotate cells, collapse, expand, and switches. But there's one other feature of these special cells I want to show you, and that is the limited activation. A limited activation cell, such as this one here, will have a little badge. If you could get a little closer, you could see it has a 3 on it. That tells you that this rotate cell is only going to activate 3 times. So let me show you that. If I enter it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, now it's grayed out and it will no longer activate as you move through it. You see I've sort of gotten myself stuck here. There's no way for me to get out of this area in this orientation, so it looks like I'm going to have to reset. So hit the reset button and it puts everything back to the way it was at the beginning of the game. One final note, if you're in the middle of a game, you've played to some extent, and you need to leave Mazin for any reason, you just leave it, and when you get a chance to come back, it's going to bring you right back to where you left off in the maze you were playing. Well, that's about it for showing you how to play Mazin, and it's pretty easy to describe how to play the game, but some of the mazes can prove to be pretty challenging. So, hope you can solve them all. Good luck. Happy maze playing. I am Jason Henson, and I am out of here.